Hello friends, welcome back to SpeedCon 2021. I hope you guys, like I said, are ready for the next run. Just like I said 2 times by now, Hotline Miami. So take it away, Urinstein. Good luck, have fun.
Yes, thanks. That's me, Urinstein, and this is Hotline. It's fairly easy to explain what's going on, so we might as well just start right away. I guess I can count down. 3, 2, 1, go! Hotline is just... You're a dude, you run around with a top-down perspective and you kill guys. And that's really... there's nothing much to the speedrun of this category, because this category is NG plus all levels. It's essentially no major glitches, no skips. It's a big boy category. We actually play the whole game, because there isn't much of a game. I mean, when you play this casually, it takes you like 5 hours because you keep dying and dying and dying and dying. Whereas I am really good at the game and I will only keep dying, which is a lot better than dying a bunch more. Yeah, so NG plus all levels, that means we have all masks unlocked. I'm playing Brandon, who runs fast, and would you imagine in a speedrun running fast is incredibly good. Yeah, these first few levels, there's nothing to them. There's not even guns on this first level. Hotline, I wouldn't say Hotline is much of a game with a high skill ceiling. It's a very heady game in my opinion. There's so much to take in. It doesn't look like it, especially when you play it casually. It's just a chaotic mess, and you die in one hit, and enemies don't always die in one hit, and it's a bit of a pain. It's an intended pain. Oops. But it turns out, particularly in Hotline 1, not in Hotline 2, a lot of people have played Hotline 2 also. Hotline 1 has a lot of hidden mechanics that you don't really pick up on. The enemy behaviors are really weird, partially due to glitches, or partially due to bugs in the code. Or like coding oversights, let's say. And partly just a bunch of mechanics that people who play this casually don't need. They always come into a speedrun stream and they say, oh, I didn't know you could do this. Like taking hostages, or... oof, oh, I don't... Okay, there you go. Didn't have a melee weapon there. You gotta know a bunch of melee weapon locations here. So there's a bunch of like very subtle sort of ways in which the game works, how the hitboxes work, and I can't even come up with good examples because everything's so natural to me by this point. I've played this game for 5 years. But what is more obvious when you play is how much randomness there is in the game. Everything is random. Absolutely everything is random. There are a bunch of enemies. Well, there are a bunch of enemies who just stand around and others who walk in circles like these. But, oops. Other enemies walk randomly across the level. Enemies have random reaction times. Enemies have a random weapon assigned to them, at least most of them. So, even though it's a 22-minute game, and I think the skill ceiling isn't very high, every level we have to learn like 5 times, because there's just so much variation to each of them. And the general flow of each level is, with Brandon anyway. So with Brandon you walk into the level, you don't have a gun, but you don't have a weapon at all. First thing you do is you walk into you punch the first guy you see, you take his melee weapon, and then you clear the whole room with melee. Not the whole room. Like you walk through most of the room with melee, because obviously melee weapons don't make sounds and they don't alarm the enemies. And then on the way, like oftentimes you would have to go back somewhere, or you have to go to one room that's sort of not on the main road. Oops. And yeah, the last few guys that you couldn't just melee, whoops, you shoot them. So as an example, here okay, well, let's not mess with that stuff. We just do like half the room here with melee, and then we have to pick up a gun to clear these guys. And then on the way back, there we go. I haven't started my own timer, so I don't even know. Hotline has been very stagnant for a while. There was a world record that's been standing for about 3 years or so. It's only been beaten in February now, and since then the world record has gone down by 40 seconds. It's now a low 22. Oops. It's a low 22-minute run now. This category. This category is the most competitive one. There's any percent, but and any percent is competitive to some degree, but not quite as much as this one. Dude, I'm lagging so much. This is Hotline for you. Always have some technical issues with the game. So yeah, there's a few reasons why the game went down a bunch. Obviously in the 3 years, it's not like nothing happened. There's a bunch of new strats. The runs, the top 3 runs now on the leaderboard are entirely, well, maybe not to you, but to me they look entirely differently. They're different from that world record that stood for 3 years. Very, very risky and daring and precise strats. It's all about good movement these days. Oops. This map, this level is not about good movement. This is kind of a cheesy level. These are not intended strats. So yeah, we do some really wild strats these days. Which obviously, well, if you just grind enough, it allows you to get a lower time. And then the other thing is gamepads. Gamepads are actually better in this game. Would you believe it? They work differently from mouse and keyboard inputs, and for the most part, they benefit a lot. The controllers, so they are much faster. If you were to make a task of the game, you would make it a controller task. Whoa, boy, that was bad. Oh yeah, standing executions is one of those, oops, weird mechanics. So, oops. Let's see, the main ways of killing people. The main ways of killing people is whacking them. I cannot believe I survived that. Or shooting them. But also, if someone falls on the ground, or if you punch them against the wall or something like that, you can do an execution, which is an animated way of killing someone. And you don't need a weapon for it. You can do it with a melee weapon, but you don't need a weapon for it. So if you don't have a weapon on your hand, you can just go for a very slow way of killing someone. And there's also the standing execution. You can just walk up to someone and perform a throat slit. It's relatively fast, like it's fast enough for it to be useful in many situations, particularly at the start of the level when you don't have a, oh, I messed this up so bad. No, I'm not getting this. There's a warp here. Don't worry about it. I showed it off 2 years ago at SpeedCon. Real OGs will know. Not a big deal though. What was I saying? Oh yeah, standing execution is one of those weird mechanics that people don't know about. unlocking... I'm noticing I'm unlocking masks. This is not an NG. This is not a good NG plus file. Usually when you play this game, you unlock stuff, right? So when you do an NG run of the game, you unlock stuff on every level. Except the levels that you skip. There are a few skips. You can skip like 6 levels. This is one of them, as was the last one, so apparently the last thing I did on this save file was an NG run, so I'm unlocking stuff that I skipped in that run. Yo. When an enemy gets hit by a weapon, you know, when an enemy dies, let me try this strat. This is super risky, but it's sick stuff. And it didn't pay off because this guy is drinking at the bar. Okay. He doesn't notice you when he's there. Dude, what was I saying? Shit. Dude, that floor is so awful. I am completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. You can't throw your weapon at someone to knock them down, right? So if you're afraid, if you're out of bullets, the last thing you do is just throw your weapon at someone and... Ouch. Hope you don't die. But if you kill someone, they also throw their weapon. They throw their weapon on the ground, and if it hits another enemy, they get thrown on the ground. So what you can have is this domino effect of just a bunch of people lying on the ground. And it's very slow, so as I mentioned, the ground executions, they are slow. You don't want them. And one of the RNG aspects here is that you don't want knockdowns. They are about a 2-second time loss each-ish. Not always. Sometimes you can just ignore the person and hope they get up in time, but more realistically, it's a 2-second time loss. There's a weird logic to how weapons drop on the ground. They go in certain directions depending on how exactly you kill someone. So these are things you gotta learn, and these are things you gotta take into account in the half a second that you try to kill someone. And the guy next to them. Obviously, you gotta take this into account if there's someone else. So now you start planning for like, oh, what am I? I didn't notice this guy. It's one of those situations where there's like 3 people, and now not only do you have to take into account 3 people, but also how they interact. Oh, this guy. No, it's this guy. Okay. That's a horrible screen. It's really big. Yo. Oh boy. These are such bad enemy reactions. Oh. Oh boy. No problem, all good. Didn't die. Did I die? I don't think I died on this floor, on this level. It's like in the top 3 of hardest levels. And I'm unlocking weapons. Sick. So yeah, this is one of these big RNG levels here. The second floor is this floor. No one likes it. Yep, you need people to actually die, so the enemies can take either 1 or 2 bullets it is entirely random if they survive a bullet or not. So you go into that room, there's a bunch of people, you need them to die quickly because the next one is already coming. And there are a few roamers, so we distinguish the 3 types of enemies. Yo, could you pick up stuff? Oh, this is so bad. Shit. Shit. Oh my god, this is a clusterfuck. Oh. Yeah, the 3 types of enemies. The stationary, who stands around, the patrol who walks in a circle, and the roamer who walks randomly. And naturally roamers are our favorites, as they can just walk out of a room, snipe you from across the end of the level, and you have fun. It's this kind of game.
Yo, I got something here for you whenever you have a moment.
Oh sure, I always have a moment for you.
Nice. Alright, we got a $5 donation here by Chadaref saying, shoutouts to Urinstein for the best run introduction ever for crosscode back at SpeedCon 2019. Always #1 in my heart.
I don't remember. I wish I would remember. What did I say? I know that at some point I complained about people liking what's that game called? It's like the big see, it's the biggest speed game ever. Oh yeah, thanks.
Mario 64?
No, I mean
Minecraft?
from like the indie games. It's a 2D platformer with the red haired girl.
Celeste?
Yes, thanks. I complained about people liking Celeste but not Crosscode, which I found a very big unfairness. But such is life.
Not sure if you have chat open, but he typed it in.
Yeah, I was so tired. I had such a brain lag. I lost like 5 or 10 minutes to just not understanding the menuing I was supposed to do in which order. That was so bad. So it was a prophecy that fulfilled itself, which
So
just
we're
makes
learning,
it even
come
better.
to your speedruns, marathons, well rested.
Yeah.
Go to sleep, kids.
Don't wake up at 6 and have a run at 12. In the evening. I need you to wake up, thank you. This level is horrendous. And if someone tells you that this isn't the worst level in the game, unfriend them. Unfriend them, they don't know what they're talking about. This is also one of the levels you can skip 90%, and it's a horrendous skip. It's awful. It's just the worst joke. Oh, I died there. It's the worst joke you could play on someone, that you can skip this level, but then the skip is horrendous. But it's still better than the level, and don't let anyone fool you about it. You know what happened there when I died is a sick mechanic that if you stand close to a door, and you don't even have to shoot into the door, you just have to be close to a door. We call it door space. It's a different dimension where the rules of physics are I hate myself, I missed the cycle. When you stand close to a door, your bullets don't spawn. It's really fun. So yeah, I was kind of standing inside of that flapping door, and I didn't get my shotgun shot. And then the dude whom I missed walked so close to me that when I shot again, my bullets spawned behind him. You can't kill someone who's too close to you, at least not with a gun. So I shot twice and he didn't die twice, even though I aimed at him. It's a fun game. Love this game. It's good. It's a well-made game. It's one of those games, you know. It's one of those games. It's genuinely an absolute masterpiece. Like this goes into the Hall of Fame of indie games for sure. but it's also a major pile of. It's a dumpster fire. Like, oh, this is really bad. I didn't hit the fatso there. I don't even know where he is. Hello. Thanks. It's a game maker game, and it was made on a budget in 2012 when, you know, indie games were only really starting to get big. It's a wonky ass game.
So you're basically saying it's Schrodinger's game? It's good and bad at the same time until you play it?
Yeah, like even when you play, it's good and bad at the same time. It's
so you never really find out.
Yeah, every time you do a measurement on it, it comes out differently. Maybe that's how I would put it. Hotline 2 is very different, so all those, as I said, it doesn't have all those weird, subtle, hidden mechanics, and it's also much less wonky. It's an entirely different game to begin with. I'm not gonna talk about it too much. I'm not a Hotline 2 runner. I'm not even a Hotline 2 enjoyer, but the developers definitely took they looked at this game and decided to do something different for obvious reasons. Well, I mean, I've been really I've been thinking about this game really hard for the last 5 years. Unfortunately, I'm very obsessed with this game, which I'm probably telling this to like a bunch of speedrunners how I'm obsessed about my speed game. And you have a lot of thoughts about your speed game, and everything makes sense.
Now we're back, I think.
Hello? Stream?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thanks. Thanks, Cad.
I told an amazing story, Caddy, but
you didn't hear it. Only I got to hear it.
Yeah. Best story you ever heard? Yes or no?
You also missed my best executed level. That was genuinely good. Like that was the first level today, and that was good. Also, look at this skip. Hey Tilda. 6 skip. It's a very old skip, but it's always good. You just sort of walk him into the wall, and then you punch him through the wall, and then the killing animation lets you walk through the wall, and then you, hey, I'm at the exit of the level. Speaking of exit, this is the exit of the run here. You just skip some dialogue, and when I touch the bike, that's time. So in like 3, 2, 1, time. Hey.
GG.
I barely like I don't think I explained anything about the speedrun, but the speedrun is literally just play the game. It's a good speedrun if that's something you like.
Yeah, playing games. Yeah, I think I kind of get it. It's very like the levels are so fast that if you can't even try to start to explain a level before it's already over.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen in the level either.
Yeah, I have something similar with Katana Zero. Like you can just like speedrun is like literally just what you see. Like I can't really go into much detail here.
Yeah, very similar flow of a run for sure. Yeah, thanks.
GG.
Thanks for having me. I hope. What's my time actually?
20. We split a bit late. On stream it says 25:21, but I think it was like 25:18 or so. I think
it's fine. 25 is cool. I'm happy with that. Okay. Your time is bad. You don't want to know. Well, okay. Then thanks for having me, and have fun with the rest of the marathon.
Yep. Thank you very much for quickly stepping in here and doing this not bonus run, but like replacement run. Yeah, thanks very much. Guys, chat, listen. So coming up, we're gonna head into a quick intermission, and after we're back, we're gonna have one of the longer runs of the marathon, which is going to be Aiden Chronicles, the first mage by Elastoy. So, stay tuned, and we will be right back after a few minutes. So see ya in a bit.